All right, it's been about 15 seconds. What's going on, guys? Doing my little personal live update that I typically do about once every month. I didn't realize that I haven't done one since October 1st. I thought that I did one kind of at the middle to later portion of last month, but apparently I did not. So it's been about a month and a half, but um, just want to jump on here and talk to you guys for a minute. And once again, with the comments, it's going to be be pretty hard to read them while I'm talking, or I'll get distracted and get all jumbled up with my words and stuff. But hey to everybody who's joining in. First off, want to always start these videos off by telling you guys how much I appreciate the support with the channel and everything. It's been a huge the fall there's been a lot of growth, especially in October, with tracking Hurricane Melissa. I think there was a lot of people tuning in from the Caribbean, like, Jamaica, stuff like that. So it was really cool to get a lot of people tuning in from that area. But, hurricane season's pretty much behind us. Technically, it's not over, but I mean, I'm going to say it's over. So, winter is the big topic now. And, y'all know me, I'm very excited about that. Excited to dive into winter weather stuff. It's by far the most favorite thing that I enjoy talking about. And, if we can manage to get a couple winter weather events here in the Southeast, you'll truly see the core of my passion when it comes to the weather, when breaking down any kind of winter weather. So, but do want to tell you guys, I appreciate y'all so much. And thank you for everything, and appreciate that, Vinny, you the man. And thank you, James. And just trying to say hey to a couple people. Hey, Chris and Kevin, and thanks for the shirt, man. But yeah, I'm actually in my job. I work here at Cummins, and pretty much about to get off here in about 10-15 minutes. So I thought I would do this, typically where I do it. But just looking back at what's happened over the last month and a half, the Melissa thing, that was pretty much the spike in the channel and got a lot of growth. And it's been pretty steady over the last few weeks. I think last week was really the first time we spoke heavily on winter weather. We're tracking the early season snow across the eastern U.S. Didn't really get a whole lot of engagement speaking on that, but at the same time, it really wasn't a huge event, and it was somewhat rare territory, but not extremely uncommon or anything like that. So I didn't expect a whole lot of traffic with that. But currently things are going well. Trying to figure out what's going to happen as we appreciate that, Bill. Thank you, man. No worries about Gamecock football, bro. It's been just kind of one of those years, man. But anyways, and here I am getting off track. But as far as current conditions, we're trying to figure out what's going to happen. We're trying to figure out what's going to happen with December, right? Late November is kind of a time frame we're starting to really narrow down and figure out. But what's going to happen in December? This is kind of one of those things a lot of people are being a bit risky with, right? There's a lot of signs that points to a very active December, really across the board, meaning across the country, the central, eastern U.S., which you guys know, that's where I focus in on. But there's a lot of things that point to a December to remember. It's just hard to see it right now because it's only November the 17th, but there's an opportunity for, some wild stuff. But we're going to figure that out. But, between now and the rest of November, I don't really have anything going on. November's been a pretty chill month for me. A lot of times I have vacation planned in November. I go to Gatlinburg, which is me and my family's spot, but we're actually going to go next month, which leads me into that. As far as anything coming up in my personal life, I do want to mention I go to Gatlinburg the 11th through the 14th. So, videos will be kind of odd in that time frame. If y'all remember last year when I went to Gatlinburg, there was a lot going on. So I actually brought my laptop with me, and I was able to make about 2 videos for you guys. So, if it's super active, I know people are going to say, Mitch, enjoy your vacation, enjoy it. But, if I go on vacation, there's like a winter storm coming for the Southeast of several days later, it's going to be hard for me not to track it. And it really will. So, but we're all speaking on a bunch of buts or ifs and things like that. So not sure if something like that will happen, but going to Gatlinburg the 11th to the 14th. I'm very excited. We're going to the Polar Express in Bryson City the 12th, the evening of the 12th. And I was smart and ahead of time. I actually got tickets back in like February or March for this December. So that's going to be one of those, things that I'm really looking forward to. Polar Express is one of my favorite Christmas movies. So nostalgic. But just going to be a nice Christmas vacation. I'm hoping for some sort of miracle that big old winter storm will hit right my own vacation. I mean, wouldn't that be cool? Just riding the Polar Express in North Carolina and then it's snowing. I mean, that's right up your boy's alley, man. But, guys, I mean, looking forward to winter. I am, I made the community post a few days ago, talking about lack of algorithm hits with the YouTube channel, and I'm doing my best to kind of keep that personal stuff out of it, because I know that it can come off like I don't appreciate the growth of the channel. But that's not what it is, guys. I just sometimes it bothers me more than it should, and I always keep it real and personal with you guys. And I feel like sometimes in a way, just my videos don't get pushed as much as maybe I think they should. So, that's why I was mentioning, tweaking some things. And I'm sure some of you guys have noticed, I've had to become a little bit more flashy with the thumbnails. And I'm just going to be real with you guys. I have, I want to try to catch people's eye a little bit more. And I did that a long time ago. I mean, when I migrated to Photoshop, I used Photoshop with my thumbnails. And, that's been, some changes. But one of the biggest things I've done over the last couple months was switch up my intro. And a lot of people will say it, would tell me, hey, your intro is pretty long. And looking back, I mean, it's exactly right. I would talk for 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, and then get into the actual weather video. And looking back on that, I mean, that was kind of humble beginnings, right? But, 1 to 2 minutes of just talking before getting into a weather video is definitely way too much. So obviously you guys can tell that I've kind of switch that up a little bit, and I've kind of sped up the intro. I'm trying to get it in between 15 to 25 seconds. But at the same time, I am who I am. And, there's some things, that's the core of a person I'm kind of stuck in my ways with. And I don't want to come off as disingenuous. Like, I want to be who I am, right? And I wish I could start off my videos like that, just saying, hey, what's up, guys? This is Mitch. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope y'all had a good weekend. It's been a good week on my end. I wish I could start videos off like that. But the thing is one thing that I know with the YouTube algorithm is it's that first like 10 seconds. If you don't catch the audience with the first 10 seconds, just a regular kind of person that's just tuning in, they've never watched the channel before, they're going to click off. And when people click off the videos, it basically, I think it negatively impacts your videos from hitting the algorithm. So I think that's what's one of the issues with my channel. And I tweaked something about 1.5 months ago, and it helped a lot. But there's still a lot of unknowns with the algorithm. And and I'm trying to tweak things here and there, but at the same time, I'm constantly asking God for guidance, right? It's God's will. I'm not going to change who I am as a person. Another thing that feedback I've got is, your videos are long, 25, 30 minutes. It's a long video about the weather. Trust me, I get it, but it's the only way I know how to do it. And that's why I create so many timestamps for people to jump ahead. But I think sometimes it works against me. It works against the channel with the videos being so long. And I don't know how people like, and listen, it's not a knock on them at all. When I say this, it's not. But the Ryan Halls and the Max Velocities, I don't know how they do it in 8 to 10 minutes. But, you can't compare yourself to others. And, those are obviously big names out in the community. They're very flashy. They catch your eye and things like that. But I can't do it in 8 to 9, 10 minutes. I just can't. I like to get very detailed. I like to show you those individual graphics. And what stinks, I think what kills me the most, guys, is I put so much time and effort in my videos, and they don't get pushed out there. So people don't know about all the details I'm providing because my videos, I think sometimes just kind of get put back in the back burner with the algorithm. But you know, I hope I'm not coming off like I'm whining. I'm very appreciative, but it's also an acknowledgement that, hey, what can you do better without changing the core of who I am? And that's a tough balance with anything in life. So, and I know you guys are putting a lot of comments down. I'm going to read them all. It's just hard for me to read through them when I'm talking, or I'll lose, you know, my train of thought here. But appreciate the feedback. I can see there's a lot of comments dropping with this. But yeah, just, you know, speaking my mind with you guys. I'm always going to keep things personal, and you know, and that's just who I am at the core. And I think that makes what we do here a lot more real. But there is a cap to what I do, meaning there's only so much I'm going to change on my channel before I say, hey, that's it. That's done. And I'm going to be real with y'all. And I had to gut check myself a little bit. And I had to say, hey, Mitch, are you saying that because you don't want to get out your comfort zone, which I'm huge on. I'm huge about, you got to get out your comfort zone to grow, right? I speak on that with the Bible devotions. You know, are you saying this because you don't want to get uncomfortable, or are you saying this because it's true? And I had to do that to myself earlier in the year, and I upgraded my equipment, my computer, changed my intro, did some things. So I got out of my comfort zone with a lot of these things and made some investments into the channel. But, you know, now I'm at this point where, you know, I'm at where I'm at, right? And if I had to ask myself, which I do you want to change anything else? And I would say, I really don't. Like, I just don't. I guess in my head, if my channel was just always going to have that slow growth, nothing too crazy where it spikes up insanely, I think in my heart, I'm starting to realize that I'm just cool with that. And I don't know. And, you know, I go back and forth with it. You know, like last week, I'm like, this stinks, man. Like, I'm sitting here talking about winter weather. You know, when you look at my view count compared to my sub count, it just don't make any sense to me. But you know, it is what it is, right? So to wrap all this up, appreciate y'all listening here. There's just not a whole lot that I really want to change going forward. And people keep mentioning YouTube Shorts, and trust me, I want to utilize the heck out of that. I want to utilize TikTok and things like that, because you can kind of, you know, both of those tangle together a little bit. But I just don't have the time, which works. Saying that I don't have time excuse works against the core of who I am also, because I can't stand when people say that. I don't, because if you really want something, you can force time. But I have the time, but I'm at the point where if I took more time to do those YouTube Shorts, things like that, it would take time away from other very important things. And I think you guys know what I'm about to say. My kids, my family, my faith, things like that. And you guys know I can't compromise that. So it's at a point now where unless I fully quit my full-time job, I can't do a whole lot more. And I'm not bummed out about that. I'm actually okay with that. But, you know, anyways, appreciate all that, guys. Appreciate y'all listening. I just appreciate the support, and I am excited about winter, and I hope that the channel can grow over the winter, and we can feed off one another, and you know, the excitement can be there, and we can grow the channel. It was huge growth time frame during hurricane season, but I know a lot of people would like me to go live, and I would love to go live too, but it's tough. You know, when you go live, you really have to be fully committed to YouTube, like 100 million%. And it's just tough. It's just tough to take hours on end to go live. But it is something that I would say the next step with growth of this channel would be to incorporate going live some. I don't think that's tough to do or anything like that, especially when we're right at the heels of breaking down a winter storm. I can jump on there, be excited with you guys, answer questions, and that's just things I have to set up on my end. So one of those things I got to get out of my comfort zone with. But with all that being said, appreciate the support. I do. It's been awesome. But, you know, I'm kind of at a point right now where if my stuff does not slam the algorithm, I'm slowly becoming a lot more okay with it. Um, you know, doing what I do, it's tough. You know, you can get wrapped up in all the hype and all these things that you want to change, and but you know that you're kind of around that slippery slope. You don't want to change too much and all of that, you know, or you'll change who you are, and I'm just not going to do that. So I'll tell you, one platform I am trying to push a lot more is Facebook. Trying to post more on there. So, you know, look up Mitch West Weather on Facebook if you got it and follow me there. I get very detailed. And of course, I'm very active on X. But that's about it, guys. We're right at the cusp of winter. It's about to get crazy. I really think it is. It's going to be a fun winter talking with you guys. I'm going to take some risk on my forecast. I am, and I'm going to be wrong. I mean, it's inevitable. I'm going to be wrong sometimes. But I'm going to take some risk, and I'm going to have fun. But at the same time, those risks are not going to be anything that I don't think is not possible to happen, right? I'm not just going to throw some stuff up, say some crazy stuff, and not believe that it's not believe that's possible that can happen. I hope that makes sense. So, but man, it's a long one. So, can't wait to read all the comments and go over everything. I appreciate y'all so much. I don't, I don't mind becoming vulnerable with you guys. That's just who I am and being personal. But I just want you guys to know how much I appreciate y'all. And, I've been doing this since the beginning of 2020, and it still sometimes does not feel like a reality. And when I tell you guys that y'all have changed me and my family's life, you truly have. You've opened up doors and that, yeah, it's just been great. So, it's been a good little stretch for me and my family. Life has been good. Nothing crazy has happened. But I know there's always going to be another valley around the corner, and that goes not just for my life, but anybody's life. So you just got to continue to move forward and get through it when it comes. But looking forward to things that come, guys. Appreciate the support. Thank y'all. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. And yeah, that's all I got.